Alright, so now that we have had lots of practice on the distributive property, let's actually use that and we can put it all together. So before you can solve some of your algebra equations, you might need to distribute or simplify. Then you can do your normal algebra steps. So just a reminder, we've done one-step equations, meaning one thing is happening to your variable that you need to get rid of. So in this case, I would minus 83 to both sides. Then we moved on to two-step equations. So two things are happening to our variable. In this case, it's being multiplied by 2, and it has to subtract 5. So we need to go through 2 steps of math to get to our equation. We need to deal with our subtraction before we deal with our multiplication. Then we learned how to simplify. So in other words, put your apples together and put your oranges together, or in this case, bananas. So we have an apple, we have positive 6 apples, so plus 6 apples, and minus 3 apples. That totals 4 apples. 1 plus 6 minus 3. I have 1 banana, and I am minusing 5 bananas, so that makes negative 4 bananas. So we have taken that long expression and simplified it. Last, we've just learned how to do the distributive property. So we need to take the number on the outside of the parentheses and multiply it, distribute it out to all of the things inside of the parentheses. So 3 times x just gets me 3x. 3 times negative 9 gets me negative 27. All right, so let's actually use that. Before we can solve this equation, we're going to need to get rid of the parentheses and do the distributive property. So the 5 needs to multiply out to the 2x, which gets me 10x, and the 5 needs to multiply out to the negative 3, so minus 15. Nothing else in that equation changed. So now we can go through our steps to solve that equation. I need to get rid of the negative 15. So I'm going to add 15. If I do that to one side, I need to do that to the other side. The negative 15 and the plus 15 go away. We're just left with 10x. Negative 25 plus 15 gets me negative 10. Now x is being multiplied by 10, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So divide both sides by 10. The numerator and denominator are the same, so they just go away. We're left with x equals negative 10 divided by 10 is negative 1. Now we can check our answer. So we think x has a value of negative 1. So 2 times negative 1 gets me negative 2. Negative 2 minus 3 overall in the parentheses gets me a negative 5. Then, since 5 is right next to the stuff in the parentheses, it's being multiplied. So 5 times negative 5, yeah, that gets me negative 25. Next one, we need to distribute out that negative 2. So negative 2 times 4 gets me a negative 8, and negative 2 times f gets me a negative 2f. The rest of the equation didn't change. Now I need to do a few steps of algebra to get my f all alone. So the two things that are happening to it is it has a subtract 8 and it is being multiplied by negative 2. So I need to get the subtraction. I need to get the subtraction to go away. So I'm going to add 8. First I'm going to make the line down my equal sign. So if I add 8 to both sides, what's left over? That went away. I have negative 2f on the right side. Negative 26 plus 8 would give me a negative 18. Now f is being multiplied by negative 2, so the opposite of that would be divide by negative 2. Do that to both sides. Same thing in the numerator and denominator, so it goes away. I'm left with f equals negative 18 divided by negative 2, a positive 9. All right, so we need to start by, distributing, so the parentheses are gone. So the 5 needs to multiply to the D, and the 5 needs to multiply to the 2. Nothing else in the equation is going to change. So the 4 and the equal sign and the 59 will stay the same. So 4 plus 5 times D, and then 5 times 2 is a positive 10, equals 59. Now the left side of my equal sign can be simplified because I have a regular number of 4 and a regular number of 10, so I might as well put that together and call that 14 plus 5D equals 59. Now I have a two-step equation. The variable D is being multiplied by 5, and it has a plus 14. So I need to deal with the plus 14 first. So I'm going to subtract 14. If I do it to one side, I'm going to do it to both sides. So the positive 14 and the minus 14 go away, and I'm left with 5D, my equal sign, and 59 minus 14 is 45. D is being multiplied by 5, so divide by 5. Same thing in the numerator and denominator, so I'm just left with D equals 45 divided by 5 is 9. If I come back into my equation, I can check that answer. Do 9 plus 2 is 11. Times 5 gets me 55, plus 4 gets me 59. Notice when I am checking my answer, I have to do my order of operations. That's why I did my parentheses first, then my multiplication, then my addition. So distribute first, 6 times P, 6 times a negative 4. Nothing else in our equation will change. So we have 6P minus 24 minus 3 equals negative 45. The left side of the equal sign can be simplified a bit by putting the negative 24 and the negative 3 together. So I now have 6P minus 27 equals negative 45. Now I have a two-step equation, so the first thing I'm going to get rid of is the negative 27 by adding 27. If I do it to one side, I need to do it to the other side. What's left over is 6P on the left side. That went away. Equal sign. Negative 45 plus 27 gets me negative 18. Your variable is being multiplied by 6, so the opposite of that would be divide by 6. So divide both sides by 6, and I end up with P on the left side, because that went away. And negative 18 divided by 6 would get me a negative 3. Now we have a decimal on the outside. So half times 8, or 0.5 times 8 gets me 4. And 0.5 times negative 2a gets me negative 1, but I'm not going to write the negative, well, there, if that helps. Negative 1a equals 12. Now I have a 4 hanging out with it and a negative 1 being multiplied with it. So I'm going to get the 4 to go away first, so minus 4 from each side. And I have a negative 1a left over because the 4 and the negative 4 went away, but notice that sign is still there. And an 8. A is being multiplied by negative 1, so we need to divide by negative 1. And you're left with A equals negative 8. Now we have a fraction that needs to be distributed out. So I have 1/3 times 9, x gets me 3x. 1/3 times 9 gets me 3 equals 15. Subtract 3 from both sides, and I have 3x equals 12. X is being multiplied by 3, so divide by 3, and I have x equals 4. All right, time to stop. Complete practice number 8, distributing to solve equations, before you can continue. Then you'll be ready to take your next assessment. Thank you.